Good morning, guys. What are we gonna do today? We're gonna make paper curtains. So I know I have shown this before, and in my shop I have these, and people are always saying, oh, how do you do those? And I just decided I'm just gonna do a video, and I'm gonna show you guys because it's so easy to do. So the ones in my shop are just book paper, and I have millions of books, and I thought, how can I decorate this place up and not spend a fortune? So I took all my books and I made curtains, and across all the beams of the ceilings I have paper curtains. I put them around the bottom of chairs, I've added them to windows, I've just added them a little of everywhere. And this time I'm doing it a little different because I decided to use this wonderful stamp called Ode to Pierre, and I'm not even gonna try the last word. I always say Boulevard, but it's not Boulevard. And it's one of the discontinued stamps from IOD, and we were able to get a few more, but when they're gone, they're gone. And I've used this stamp on so many of my videos. Definitely take a look out for it and see who has it, because it's pretty cool. I usually always use China Blue with it, and I don't know why I'm stuck with that, but I love China Blue with this stamp. But there was a gal that posted on my Facebook page, Tina Bedwell, and she used distressing ink, and I think it was Vintage Photo, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So take a look, and you can see the differences with the stamp, and it just made such a beautiful background. So anyway, let's get our book paper and get stamping, and let's get started. Okay, so this is what the stamp looks like. It had another trim at the top that was a vine, and I cut that off. And it's perfect because the stamp fits on to this paper and covers it all. I cut my book pages to 8 by 11 inches. And so you'll have to find a book that's, I like it to look a little older, but you really want it to be strong enough that when you're squishing it and wrinkling it, you're not gonna rip it. And that's the trick, finding good books like that. So I am just going to stamp this beautiful stamp onto this paper. And with this one, I really like to make sure that my ink pad is really juicy. There is so much detail in this that I really want to make sure I get it. Some come out a little lighter, and it works out okay when I get it all put together. But I like to get as much detail as I can on this guy. You can see it's just going to fill the whole page. You got to make sure you get your fingers across all of it, otherwise you'll be able to tell the parts you didn't get, because it'll just be a little lighter. Voila! The piece I did, it's between 3 and 4 feet, and I used 14 sheets of paper, so you want to do at least 14 of these, maybe a few more. So after you've stamped all your sheets, I'm going to just crinkle this. So that's just why you want to really make sure that your paper's strong enough. I ended up getting a huge pallet of old books, and it was from a school, and they were old reference books, and they were going to discard them. So I got them for almost nothing, and I use them for all of my projects. And they're older, but they're sturdy enough I can use them. So I'm just gonna crinkle these up, and then I'm kind of gonna smooth them out. And you're gonna do that with all your sheets. And then what I'm gonna do next, only because I want it to look a little older, I'm using a little clear wax and a little dark wax, and just going over the front of the sheets. And you don't need to do that if you like the color of your paper. I just wanted something a little more vintage looking for these. So after you've done this with all of your sheets, we're gonna attach it to our board. So you're gonna have to find a kind of a heavy duty backing to put your curtains onto. I had found this at a garage sale, and I've looked everywhere for it to figure out what it is, and I ended up with like, I don't know, 100 of these long strips, and it's like a heavy cardboard, and it's about 1.5 inches wide. The closest thing I found to this online is a upholstery tacking strip, but it's only 1/2 inch, so I think that would be way too thin to use. And this is one of my last few pieces I have left, so I had to come up with something else to use. So of course, my handy drywall tape. So to make it sturdier, I would probably fold it in half and use a glue stick, kind of glue it down a little bit, just to tack it in place while we're working with it, to use for your backing. I'm gonna use this for right now, but this would work just as well for your backing. You could actually even use a thin piece of wood. You could use whatever you want for your backing, but if you use wood, you're not gonna be able to sew through it. So that's why I'm using just a heavy strip that will kind of hold your curtains. Even heavy cardboard would work. The drywall tape's gonna be a little thinner. It's gonna be 1 inch instead of 1.5 inches, but that would work too. So let's get going on folding it up and putting it together. Okay, so here's our paper, and all I'm gonna do is do 2 pleats. You can see I'm doing about 1/3 the way in, and do a pleat, and then do a pleat. And that's really it. I'm just gonna take a little glue, and I wanna do it at the very, very bottom edge of this piece. So just about however big this is gonna be. A little hot glue here. And then put this to the top of that. And go like that. Let's get the next one. A pleat. And another pleat. And overlap it a little, hot glue. And you'll see why in a few minutes, why I'm doing it at the very bottom. And you're just gonna continue this all the way to the very end of your strip. So when you have your pieces glued on all the way to the end, all I did was I took it over to my sewing machine, and you really don't need to do that. You could glue it up higher if you wanted to. And I just ran this through my sewing machine at the top edge. And this is why I glued at the bottom to hold it, but just do a seam all the way across to the very end. And then you can kind of play with your pages and open them up. And really, that's it. So when you're done with your curtains, you may have extra sheets of paper, and I hate to waste anything that I've done. And this paper is just so pretty, so I thought, oh, let's just do book plates. I love book plates. So when you have cute books, or for the kids or for you or whatever, you can just make some book plates and put adhesive and put it inside your book. And I did a cute little template up, and it just looks like this. And I even gave you some instructions, but you could do whatever you want and just change it. But you'll get this, and I hand typed this out on my old Underwood, and it just says this book belongs to, in some little spaces here. So what I did, and it'll tell you on here, I just cut this paper up into 2.5 by 3.5 inch rectangles, this really pretty waxed paper. And then I cut some of my shipping paper, and I cut it just 1/4 inch bigger, so it's like 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then all I'm gonna do is use a glue stick, or you could use double stick tape or whatever you would like for adhesive. And I'm just gonna stick that in the center of here. And then when I printed this out onto my shipping paper, I just cut one of these out, and I am the same thing. I'm just gonna glue stick it on, just somewhere on this page. And if you wanted to get real fancy, you could get on your sewing machine and sew around it, or add some other fun embellishments, but and then some really strong adhesive, and just put it in your book. But how cute, and you're not wasting any of your paper. Have fun. So here you go, cute little book plates. I know they go inside of the book, but look how cute that is on there. And paper curtains, and you can use any design on your paper. I just happen to love the stamp, and don't forget, we'll have a few of these stamps left in the shop, and it's definitely a great stamp. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely get one, and come up with some great paper curtains, or cover whatever you'd like. And here's just another fun idea for you guys.